Look, there are two positives of this week. One, we secured playoffs. We are still moving on. We're not done. It looked like the split goes on. And two, this loss to Golden Guardians, despite how much this sucked, I now can actually go see Oppenheimer in about 2 hours without having to worry about all the tiebreakers afterwards and doing that. Which, to be clear, I'd much rather be in the tiebreakers and have a chance at upper bracket. But alas, it is what it is. So to take us back to the start of last week, we basically just had to win one game to get into playoffs. Dignitas being the likely person that we could beat, NRG and Golden Guardians being much less likely, and that was it. Unfortunately, come Wednesday, we made this as humanly difficult as possible going into playoffs, where we somehow lose to Dig. Once again, closer is invisible the entire game. Bucio has a bad game as well. It just nothing working whatsoever, and it felt like it legitimately felt like we were done for, with FlyQuest possibly making a run. And I wouldn't doubt that FlyQuest ends up going on to beat freaking Cloud9 today. You couldn't help but be a little bit pessimistic after that Dig game, just realizing that it might not happen. The only consolation being that NRG always seemed to lose against lower seed teams, which is exactly what happened. We somehow pulled off the dub against NRG, which in hindsight, now that they've also lost to Immortals today, Immortals playing much freer and looser than they have in recent days, I'm not sure if it gave me the most amount of confidence after the win. I mean, by all means, we played clean. Closer finally showed up for the first time all split in like a good carry game and played Viego, played it well, was exerting a lot of pressure and just honestly playing the matchup incredibly. But the question always remains is Closer can't not show up in these moments, and it's like, it's a problem worth addressing in the offseason, but at this point it's not worth talking about now. At the end of the day, it was a clean game, a very clean game over NRG. We nearly chucked it once midway through, but overall I'm still fine. Which leads us to today, the game versus Golden Guardians, which to me was a bigger sign of how we were going to look going into playoffs than the game yesterday. And we actually held them very close. Even though we kind of struggled in the mid game again, we were getting advantages in what I thought were favorable matchups for Golden Guardians in lane. Quid got a significant amount of pressure. Mid was up in CS. Double lift on Zeri, which I'm still not the biggest fan of the Zeri pick. It is what it is. We were able to get advantages in bot lane. Closer was able to blow flash in top lane early on. Like, it actually was pretty much going to plan. We took a really bad fight, in my opinion, midway through, which set us behind and put us on the back foot for a bit, but we kept clawing our way back in. Ultimately, it just felt like Golden Guardians knew how to beat us, and that was get on top of double lift. That's what they drafted for. That's why they drafted the Vi and the Ahri and Jax, to just be able to jump in and kill double lift. And we just did not do a good enough job in that final fight of blocking for him. Like, somebody needs to jump in front of that charm coming in from the Ahri and try and lock her down. Jax, you might not be able to get on top of him, but like it's tough. I once again don't mind playing the double lift carry style, because he clearly can take over these games, but like, you need something to also just exert some other form of pressure whenever double lift is in that position to win the game, because otherwise then exactly what happened here is going to happen in playoffs, where everybody just jumps right on top of him, kill him, you win the game. Now, Quid notably did have a good game on Azir, all things considered. So for those that don't know how the playoff schedule works from here, we now have a week off. We are guaranteed either 7th or 8th seed. We have to see what happens with Dignitas to play against them in a likely tiebreaker scenario to try and win the 7th seed. I don't even know if there's a tiebreaker for that. I mean, there could be. But either way, we're probably going to play the higher of likely NRG or TSM/Dig. That's assuming that Team Liquid and Evil Geniuses do win their first round matchup and go on to play upper bracket finals. So we would have like a 1 best-of-5 series to like really prove ourselves that we belong in playoffs, and then hopefully ramp up to what is going to be a more serious matchup against one of the bigger guys from there. How do I feel about our chances in playoffs? Honestly, not great, all things considered. Closer still not showing the best form. Like the Sejuani today was decent and it did exude a bit of pressure, but like it is night and day difference when Closer is playing something like Viego or Lee Sin. And if I'm every enemy team right now, I'm trying to pick away the Zyra or the Kai'Sa and just keep Closer off of Viego Lee Sin. And for the most part, as of right now, you're still fine. He still is mitigated for the most part. We are going to be very clear to play against. You got to shut down Doublelift and we'll be fine. Quid's not going to carry the game on his own. And as long as you keep Closer on a champion that can't carry the game through him, it's literally just kill Doublelift. So we need to either A, see Quid step up massively in a best of 5, which we could, and that could be a nice change of pace and change our optics going into this playoff series, or we need to have something else prepared, which quite honestly, I don't see us changing up our draft style all that much. So it really is just going to be on Quid to step up and then Closer to just play these engaged champions more. If he gets a chance to play Viego or Lee Sin, then carry the game and do what you normally do. But like now we find out, is playoff Closer a real thing? It's mid-jungle duo. If those two can show up in playoffs, we are honestly a team to be contended with. If we play that game just a little bit better today, we're fine. And Golden Guardians is one of the top teams in the league right now. So honestly, that gave me enough signs to have faith in this roster going into playoffs. It's just a matter of executing and just a matter of understanding that in the best of 5, you got to make these slight adaptations because we can go in and just pick the Rakan first and, play for Doublelift. But like, you have to have several different unique strategies on that, of which honestly, again, I feel like we can do. You give this team like a week and a half of solid practice with Kane and with everybody else and just give them the time that they need. This could be very similar to 2021 where, hey, we needed that week off and then that's what allowed us to just catapult ourselves to a whole other level to be able to win the LCS. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to win the LCS. I'm just saying that top 4 is the goal. I do want to address some of the fans that I saw out on Twitter, on Reddit a little bit of 100 Thieves. I'm not talking about like the Golden Guardians fans and the general LCS fans that were like, man, I just hope they lose and get 3-0 in playoffs so we don't have to see them again. They're like, I get that. If you're not a fan of 100 Thieves, that's fine. To the 100 Thieves fans that had that opinion or were making it apparent on Twitter or saying it elsewhere, what is wrong with you? Seriously, this is your team. I don't care if you don't like how they're playing right now. Where is your pride and sense of glory in the team? I get we might not be playing in the best form right now. I get it might not be entertaining for you. And yes, we are at risk of going 0-3 with a fairly simple comp style that we run almost every time. But seriously, if you are a fan of the org, if you are a fan of these players and the team, you should be wanting them to win in every scenario, even if this is the last time that we see the roster. I don't get this like fair weather freaking version that exists within esports so much more than other sports. If you walked into a bar of Steeler fans in their final game of the season was like, yeah, we're probably gonna, if we go into playoffs, we're probably just gonna get stomped anyways, so why should we win this game? Everybody's gonna turn around and look at you and be like, dude, what in the world are you on? Shut up and get out. And seriously, where's that ride or die mentality in esports? Like, honestly, like if it has to come through me and me giving you that sense of pride, fine, let me know and I'll be more bolsterous like this and I will gladly do it more often. But I swear to God, I will mute anybody that tries to come at me with that perspective. Because I'm sorry, if you're just expecting a 3-0 and, move on, why are you watching in the first place? Seriously, what good is that doing you in any way, shape, or form? Have some freaking pride in this. Even if we do lose 3-1 or 3-2, at least we went down giving it our all. This could be the last time that you see 100 Thieves from now until freaking January next year with a roster we don't know what it's going to look like. So for once, can esports fans just be ride or die blind loyalty? I know it sounds dumb, and if you're not used to that type of fandom, then whatever, like just to learn it somewhere, for the love of God. It's just more engaging and more entertaining and more fun. I get it, gets your nerves up and makes you more anxious. And by all means, I was sitting there watching that Golden Guardians game, scared out of my mind when we had a lead, because it's like, oh man, I'm still not sure about this. And yes, the emotions are higher and you need to be able to handle that. But that comes with fandom. That's what makes the highs so high. If you're sitting here checked out right now and say we do make the run, then it's like, huh, well, cool. I guess so, whatever. I thought we were going to get 3-0'd. Or you could just be like, yeah, I freaking believed. I gave my all into this. And you know what? It paid off. And if it doesn't pay off, then guess what? We do it again next year. And that's what loyalty is. That's what fandom is. So where the hell is that from that minority group of people that I just constantly get these fucking opinions on Twitter from? They're just like, unpopular opinion. Please stop. Nobody wants to hear that shit. Sorry, they don't. So to my 100 Thieves fans out there, get ready. We have a week to prepare. We have a week to watch what's going to happen in playoffs next week, figure out what we're going to do going into the week after, and then all hell breaks loose. We will play on either that Thursday or Friday of that week, and if we win, then we will play the week afterwards. So it's going to be a long journey to try and get to Worlds, but I am optimistic and I am excited. You are seeing this on Saturday, which means we all owe a massive congratulations to Nadeshot, who just got married. I wish nothing but the best for him and Haley going forward. I love every bit that we obviously see of them on camera and how much they interact, not only with the brand, but with the fans and everybody else. It's good to see people around the org being happy. But that's all I got for you guys this week. I know 1-2 week kind of feels bad. I know people might not be as excited going into playoffs, but I'm telling you, just give it that last little bit of loyalty and fandom that you got. I know you might be running low. I know you might be on reserves, but just trust me, it makes the ride more worth it. And if we can pull this off, if we can make it happen, then you can say that you were in it from the beginning. Thank you very much. Be sure to drop a like, subscribe if you're a 100 Thieves fan, or even if you're not. If you just want to see me lose my mind in a week, that's fine. See you on the next episode. Adios.